If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum leadership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. I love Anchor because it's really easy to use, very accessible to record your podcast, and has excellent sound quality. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hi, I would like to thank the NVLD project for helping me spread the word about my small, safe Zoom group on the third Saturday of the month. The next one is on the 20th of March. You can find the link by going to Facebook to Living with NLD or email me for the link or the NVLD project. And if you do plan on coming, please say that you are coming to the event that is on the Facebook page for Living with NLD. And I hope to see you there at that event. The last one that happened was the biggest one yet. 7 people came, and I think it went quite well. So hope to see you there. Bye. Hello, I am Jennifer Lynn Bursell, aka Evertuning Butterfly, bringing to you Living with an Invisible Learning Challenge, where we will discuss the challenges and triumphs of those with NLD. I don't know if you're a new listener or not, but I would like to share with you where I get most of my articles for this podcast. I've recently learned about a nonprofit that I would really like to help. It's the NVLD Project. In addition to doing research on NVLD and working to get it back on the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, that is the DSM, they provide support groups for those with NVLD. You can find the NVLD Project at www.nvld.org. All proceeds from this podcast and the ads will go towards the NVLD Project. I will include the link for this in the description of the podcast. Please go to livingwithnld.com to learn more about my podcast. Also, I would like to announce that I now have created a YouTube channel for this podcast. I will post the link for this in the description for you. I've definitely been working on some different things of, instead of driving, I've been working on, just learning about, I would say more adulting things, and been saving the money that I've been earning for my car insurance and for my gas and repairs when I do need to be paying for those things again.
Right.
And actually for a new car when I need to get one. And for retirement and a place of my own, I have different accounts for each of those things.
Oh, that's good.
Actually, yesterday, I'm being proactive, and yesterday's episode was on saving money. So, which has helped me train my mind to see the bigger picture of things, which I know is hard for people who have NLD.
That big
we
picture.
Tend to focus on those little details.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I can definitely relate to what Chloe said about rattling off facts about things. I have that too, where it's easy for me to memorize facts about things that I love learning about, like hummingbirds or butterflies, which for me are animals I just really love. Like I remember I did a research paper about hummingbirds in school a long time back, and I still remember that when they hover, they move their wings in a figure-8 pattern. And I don't know how my mind does that, but it just does.
Mm.
Um,
That's interesting. The figure eight. I have two hummingbird feeders, and one of my neighbors told me just last summer to, instead of buying the food that turns red, for them
mhm,
to make your own. She said it's safer if you make your own for them. And so I boil
mm.
the water and add the sugar and then put it in the refrigerator, or let it get to room temperature, I think it is, and then I put it in
Mhm.
there. And yeah, it's funny because they'll come and drink it, and then they'll fly right in front of our window, almost like thanking me. And I'd never
Oh,
noticed the pattern that they fly in. So I'm going to be looking for that now.
yeah, you might be able to see it, but it I guess it could be hard to tell depending on how fast their wings are moving.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They
They
move really
beat pretty
fast.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Um, but yeah, you're right. We do tend to focus on really interesting things. So that the next question was if you had any examples of how you and your husband helped Chloe with the difficult challenges, which I think you kind of touched upon a little bit with the spatial things.
Yeah. So, we're a work in progress, of course. We're still
Mhm.
learning about NLD and about Chloe, and some of the things that we do for her. One of the main things is helping her walk across the street when we're out and about. We do have to guide her and look out for her in case she misjudges her timing. We don't want her getting hit by a car, because we've had a close call once before. She was actually with some friends of ours. We weren't even with her, and they weren't aware of her disability, and so they
Mhm.
weren't really watching her, because they figured she was old enough to know. But yeah, sometimes I if I know we're crossing a busy intersection or we have to hurry, I just have her hold on to my arm, kind of like you
Mhm.
would, like with a visually challenged person. We've also reiterated to her that it's imperative that she look both ways, several times, like you do the quadruple,
Of course.
while she's crossing the street. Because I told her, I said, we won't always be there with you. So we're definitely, that's one of the things we're afraid of and very aware of. So we try to help her with that. We also try to work on visual things with her, like puzzles. She's gotten really
Mhm.
good at that. She was not good at puzzles when she was a toddler, and
Mm.
the teachers were kind of concerned about that. But now I know why. But she's definitely
Mhm.
gotten a lot better with puzzles. Now, as far as the social skills aspect of the NLD goes, we've encouraged her to practice on family members, like reach out to cousins, grandparents, whoever, and even old friends, and just kind of practice communicating with them, whether it's through texting or on the phone, or not necessarily in person, especially not now because of COVID. But she's
Mhm.
also tried some online social clubs. She did a live social skills class at this
Mhm.
center that we took her to just last September, I think it was. And that was a 6-week program where they met every 6 weeks and, just talked about things that were socially acceptable and not socially acceptable, and kind of let them practice their skills. But as far as the ADHD goes, we've set goals and parameters for her as far as her schoolwork goes. And, just when we kind of started to do that, she turned the corner herself and has been
Mhm.
able to keep up with a lot of that on her own now. But we also, I used to have to set her schedule for her schoolwork last year and chunk out her work assignments and have her only do certain subjects on certain days. But now she's got all that figured out herself. And, she even prepares her own breakfast if she either doesn't like what I've fixed, or if I haven't fixed it quick enough. If I'm doing something else, she'll go and take care of it. Lunch I usually fix for my family, but she's been doing her own lunch here and there, and she'll even help out with dinner every now and then, or she'll make a dessert. If I haven't made dessert, she'll make one. And it usually turns out pretty good. And she knows how to pace herself throughout the day too, and give herself frequent breaks, and
Mhm.
kind of chunk her homework out. But I think she had something else to say about that too.
Oh, actually, I didn't, because I think I already said it earlier.
Oh,
But one thing that I did want to say about the Aikido, I think it's called.
Mhm.
Um, that actually sounds really interesting, and it sounds really fun because I have proprioceptive issues, like feeling my body in space, and I like pressure tight things and like impact almost kind of stuff, like impact sport kind of thing. So that actually sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun for me. It basically, I can tell you more about it. It was I would categorize it more as self-defense than um, most martial arts, because it's the opposite of karate, where you are more hurting your opponent. When Aikido, you try to take your opponent's energy and reflect it back on them, where it really doesn't hurt them unless you resist it. Um, and you are you can be in different positions, or pins you could call them, um, but if, like I said, if you don't resist the positions your body is put in, it usually doesn't hurt. um, it can, it like the some of the positions you may put your um, arms in, or hands in, or like your wrist, it may hurt a little bit because you may not be used to it, but as you get more used to it, it doesn't hurt as much. But yeah, it might be something you could look up and see if you have something like that in your area, um, and see if you know, would like doing something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds really fun.
yeah, I think we will try to look into that.
Yeah, I did it with my brother. And it was fun to do it together because he and I are very close. We never fought growing up, and we're best friends. So
Well, that's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not it's rare for siblings. um
Right.
Yeah.
and it was, you know, it was our thing to do together. And we neither of us do it anymore, but sometimes we'll just pull a move on each other just for fun. And
Yeah, for old time's sakes.
yeah, exactly. And it was fun. And it, it it definitely is a way for you to I would say, become more aware of how your body does feel in spaces, because you do practice on a mat. And it's definitely, it would be like a gymnastic mat, actually. um, and it is pretty thick, so it's definitely soft enough to fall on and roll like you need to.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
yeah, um, so yeah, it's definitely something to look into. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to say to Chloe that it's a good thing that you know how to pace yourself with the schoolwork that you do, because that's a will be a very good thing for you to have in college, because it's good for you to know when to take breaks. Because I know for myself, I used to in high but before college, I used to work all straight through the day and not take a break.
Oh, wow.
And I think that was probably a bad thing. And I think I got better at knowing how to take breaks in college, and being like, okay, I need to go for a run or take my dog on a walk, just to let my brain rest a little bit. Because I found if I did that, I actually, when I came back and worked, started my work up again, I actually was a little bit better, and I was I was rejuvenated. Um,
Yeah, and our
so
bodies need that.
yeah, they do. So it's a good thing you know how to do that. Um, and it's definitely a good thing that you're trying to do the social things as well. It's not easy in the COVID time.
Right.
I can relate to that. But, some things that definitely the challenges that I face would be, with the body language as well. And something that I've done with, just trying to read body language is whenever I'm watching TV, my parents will let me pause it. And because we have a smart Apple TV, so we can pause it whenever we're watching it. And they will let me ask them if I'm understanding the body language on the TV of the character that we're watching.
Oh, that's good. That's cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that too, because make sure that I'm comprehending it correctly and that I'm able to understand, whether it's their facial expression or their whole body that I'm trying to look at. So that might be something for Chloe to try.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
If you don't already do that. And something we also do is try to role play conversations that I might wind up, being in social situations, which helps because sometimes you can feel nervous or anxious, and if you role play, it helps get rid of that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's one of the things that the occupational therapist has recommended with her. I think we've done it once, but yeah, that's something that we definitely need to keep practicing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could do that with, I do it with my parents and with my brother. And you could also do with, if any of her other family members know about it too. But something else I've been working on recently is trying to be aware of what other emotions that my family members might have, basically the facial expressions that they have. And it's something that I used to not really pick up on, but I'm getting better at it. And my mom has been noticing that I've been doing it. And what's really been cool, it's been cool that I've been able to get better at it, because one example that I can give you is, I noticed my mom was looking around for something the other day, and I asked her what she was looking for. And I was able to help her find what she was looking for, and just trying to be more perceptive of what they might need help with.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, which is good because, whether it's they're looking for something or they might need to be taught, might need to be talked to about something personal, or but yeah, that can be tricky because we don't I know people who have NLD often don't pick up on the nonverbal things very easily.
Yeah, you almost have to be intentional about having your antenna up.
Exactly. And I know for me, whenever I'm looking at somebody's facial expression, whether it's somebody I know in my family or somebody on TV, I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to discern it, like, what does that look like, or what does it mean?
Yeah. And sarcasm, I guess. Do you struggle with recognizing sarcasm? I know Chloe
Yes.
does. And I do too, even.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah, I struggle with that too. And I'm getting better at that though, because we do watch a lot of we watch Stephen Colbert and Trevor Noah.
Oh yeah,
like,
my parents do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so because they are news people that use comedy,
Hmm.
I'm able to pick up on it better than I used to, which is
Yeah.
good.
And Jen, I'll have to
Yeah.
tell you, the older I get, the more I get it. Because when I
Uh,
was younger, Chloe's age and even your age,
mhm.
a lot of that stuff like went straight over my head. And one of the things I realized about it, the reason why I wasn't picking up on it, I wasn't relaxed enough. I was
Mhm,
so tense and anxious and nervous that I couldn't relax and
mhm,
allow myself to
Yeah.
understand it. So that might be part of it too. I don't know
mhm.
about you, but that was the way it was with me. And I
Yeah.
think that's the way it is with
Like being
Chloe
really
too.
serious. Yeah.
But the more relaxed I get and the more the more of my fear that kind of goes away as to what people are gonna think about me, or I just try to be myself and relax, and then I can my mind is available to actually pick up on more things.
Yeah,
um
I would agree with you on that. I am able to pick up on more things too, um, if I'm more relaxed and not so serious or taking things literally. Um,
yeah,
like people with NLD tend to. And
because I
if
used to be so serious when I
yeah,
was younger.
and I think also some things is I tend to not know all the idioms or the metaphors that they're using.
Oh
Um,
yes, yes.
and so if that happens, I pause it. I'm like, Mom, Dad, what does that mean?
Right.
No, but I literally have a book of idioms, and it's really cool because I bought
Yeah.
it just so I could learn like the different things, and it's really cool. I actually really enjoy going through that
Oh,
book.
Mhm.
maybe I should get one of those.
And I teach English online sometimes through this company that does online English teaching. And some of the students, some of the lessons that we go over, they'll have
Mhm.
common idioms, and I'll have to explain it to them. Like, for example, some people in some countries, they when you say your cell phone is dead, they're like, "What do you mean dead?" Because they're thinking of a person. Only a person can die. Instead of the battery life being exhausted or some other term, no signal or just whatever. But you're like, dead? What do you mean dead?
Yeah, that would be funny because I can relate to that too. Where, like, I remember when we went to England, the expression they used for Americans is, "Oh, you come from across the pond,"
Oh yes, yes.
and we're like, "Well, it's not a pond; it's an
Right.
ocean."
You're right. This is quite a big pond.
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. There are different expressions.
I
Um,
think I was watching Downton Abbey one time, and they
yeah.
said um, the patriarch, I forget his name. It's been a while, but oh, what's his name?
I don't watch that.
Lord, I know Chloe's like, I don't watch that. Lord somebody, but anyhow, the Earl,
Hmm.
Gresham or something like that. Well, anyhow, he said, oh yes, she's a different kettle of fish, or used as a way of saying someone was odd.
That's
She's a
so
different
weird.
kettle of fish. Like, I definitely have to look that one up.
Yeah. Th- Yeah, I have watched that show too, but it's been a while since I watched it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right that everybody has their own expressions. But yeah, was thinking that there some of the other things I did for the challenges with schooling. I don't know if Chloe's does this or anything, but um, I don't know if she has challenges with math, but something I did so math was easier for me because it's definitely easier than it used to be.
Mhm.
I would try to memorize the multiplication tables and try to add things faster by grouping things by fives, tens, and 15s.
Mm.
And that was just little shortcuts that my parents taught me, and some of the tutors that I had to help me get through the difficult subjects. Um, and
Yeah.
I also, because I did my homework at where my parents worked, I kind of became accustomed to blocking out noises, and I realized that when I was at college, I couldn't study in a library because it was just gosh darn too quiet.
Oh, wow. So you got used to the
Yeah.
distractions.
Yeah, exactly. So
Wow.
I had to study where there was noise. Uh,
Yeah. And I think Chloe's kind of like that too. She can
Yeah.
tolerate noise.
yeah. So I had to, like, go to I could go to like a common space on campus where there would be noise, and maybe put on my headphones and listen to music or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because I would just block it out because I was used to doing that. But that's
Yeah.
something different than most people. They usually need quiet.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I have to have pretty much quiet. It depends on what I'm doing. I can multitask, I can uh, do laundry and push
Hmm.
a button on my, computer or whatever and have something on the TV and then hear a conversation. But if it's something that I really need to concentrate on, I have to read it two or three times.
Yeah, I would say sometimes I am that way. Like, sometimes the multitasking is too much for me to do, and I need to do one or two things at a time. I can't do,
Yeah.
like, three or four things at a time. Um, but I would agree with you. Usually, I can block things out and focus pretty well. So that was something that I learned about myself. And I know
Yeah.
we were touching upon a little bit of the gifts that Chloe had from the NLD and ADHD a little bit earlier, but I guess you can talk about some of the things you might not have mentioned earlier.
Okay, just a couple things. The main gifts from ADHD, I would say, would be the many different interests that she has. And she's got a lot of different interests in a lot of areas. She seems to like a lot of things. She's gotten a little, um, she's narrowed it down a little bit more now, but it used to be like, whoa, she was interested in everything.
Mm.
But but that's also why it's so hard for her to focus on just one thing. But with the NLD, she's very good at anything verbal and like reading, writing, and her extreme knowledge of her vocabulary words. She's always been very good at that. She didn't talk until she had some words, but mainly after she turned two, she started talking quite a bit, maybe like a month after she turned two she took off with her talking. But before that, she seemed to be more observant than anything. She was watching people,
Hmm.
following people around with her eyes, and probably thinking all kind of things in her head. But also with the reading, I think which goes along with the verbal and vocabulary. She started reading at a really young age and just kind of took off with it and probably reads better than my husband and probably better than me.
Mm.
But I think those are her main gifts. What you say, Chloe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to those things too. So I'm I definitely have a love of learning new things also, and like I said earlier, challenging myself. And I'm for me, I'm definitely good at remembering people's names and birthdays and
Oh,
Yeah, me too.
um, numbers
Hmm.
and celebratory dates like anniversaries or um, and family stories,
mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
and I have strong auditory and kinesthetic and ripple memory. My visual memory is the worst, but that's usually normal for people who have NLD.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But that's because we take in everything that it is nonverbal better. But yeah, I would agree with you that I just a little bit about the people's names. I remember when I was growing up, I would go to summer camps, and there would be like probably 300 people there, and usually people that came each summer, or sometimes new people also. And when we would take a group picture at the end of the summer camp, and then it would be mailed to us later on, and I would receive it, I could look at the photo and name everybody in the photo.
Wow. That's amazing.
And back then I didn't know I had NLD.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing.
Yeah, just for fun, the other day I looked at one of those photos, and I couldn't name everybody still, but I think I maybe did half of the people.
And that's still good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
And it was like, okay, I still can do it.
You're right.
And it was like, okay, it's a very it's a small detail that my
it
mind
has its advantages.
Yeah.
So this was another question. As I wrap up, there are some things I would like to share with you. I do have a website for this podcast. It is called livingwithnld.com. I also have a Facebook and Instagram page for this podcast. It is called Living with NLD. I will include the links for those in the description. In conclusion, I would like to hear from my audience. If you know individuals with NLD that I could interview for this podcast, please email me at livingwithnld@gmail.com. What are you interested in learning about NLD? I know I'm not an expert, but I do know I have the living experience of having it. I would like you to practice journaling about your gifts and differences. Also see if there is a way that you can make that difference become easier for you to do than it originally was. Thank you for listening today, and please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Thank you. Bye.